Let's get real for a moment. If you've been stuck waiting for someone to finally make up their mind about you, to commit, to step up, to choose you, then this is your wake-up call. Because here's the truth. Someone who's truly right for you won't need months of confusion to realize your value. And if he's still hesitating, still keeping you on standby, still not ready, while reaping all the benefits of your time and energy, it's not your job to wait, it's your job to walk. So if he couldn't choose you, that's okay, but now you get to choose you. And that starts with letting him lose what he didn't appreciate when he had it. When someone can't decide whether they want to be with you, it's easy to start turning the question inward. You begin asking yourself, what am I doing wrong? Am I not enough? Should I be more patient? But here's the uncomfortable truth. Someone's indecision about you says more about them than it ever will about your worth. When a person can't choose you, it's often not because there's something wrong with you. It's because they either don't know what they want or they know, and they're just not willing to say it out loud. It's human nature to want clarity. In fact, we crave certainty in relationships. We want to know where we stand. But when you're in a situation where someone constantly sends mixed signals, showing interest one moment and pulling away the next, it becomes emotionally draining. And that confusion starts to plant dangerous seeds of self-doubt. You begin wondering if maybe, just maybe, you need to earn their love, or wait a little longer, or be just a little more understanding. That's how people get trapped in emotional limbo, stuck giving their best to someone who can't even decide if they want to stay. But indecision is not neutral, it's not passive, it's not harmless. When someone doesn't choose you, it doesn't create a blank space. It creates uncertainty, anxiety, and emotional instability. They may not be rejecting you outright, but they're not showing up for you either, and that middle ground, it's the most damaging place to live. It's where your self-esteem goes to die slowly, where you overanalyze every interaction, and where you start compromising more and more of your boundaries just to maintain a connection that isn't even secure. Here's the key shift. Stop viewing their indecision as something you need to fix. You're not a problem to be solved or a product to be sold. You're a whole person, and you shouldn't need to campaign for someone's certainty. The person who is right for you won't put you through a prolonged audition. They'll be clear, they'll be consistent, and they'll make you feel safe in the knowing, not anxious in the waiting. It's easy to believe that if you're patient, loving, and understanding enough, the other person will eventually see your value. And sure, sometimes people come around, but the real question is, should you have to wait to be chosen? Should you have to prove your worth over and over for someone who should already see it? Relationships aren't about applying pressure until someone caves. They're about mutual recognition, two people who meet and both say, yes, I choose you. If he can't say that, if he's still figuring things out, or not ready, or unsure, then you have a decision to make, and that decision has to come from a place of self-respect, not anger, not revenge, not manipulation, just clarity. You don't need to yell, beg, explain, or perform. You just need to step back and reclaim your energy from someone who was never certain about holding it in the first place. Your value is not up for debate. It's not something that goes up and down based on how someone else sees you. Just because someone couldn't see it doesn't mean it wasn't there. So if someone can't choose you, let that be enough. You deserve more than someone's maybe. You deserve someone's full-hearted, confident yes. We often think that when someone isn't sure about us, we should wait patiently and give them time. That maybe, with enough space, support, or love, they'll eventually come to the conclusion we're hoping for, that they want to be with us. But what we don't realize is that not choosing is a choice. Indecision isn't neutral. When someone repeatedly avoids committing, delays conversations, or keeps you in emotional limbo, that's not them figuring it out. That's them showing you exactly where you stand. A lot of people confuse silence for uncertainty or lack of effort for confusion. They think, well, he hasn't said he doesn't want me, so there's still hope. But action or inaction always communicates something. A man who wants you will make it known. He won't be hot one day, cold the next. He won't have you guessing how he feels. He'll make it obvious because when someone truly values you, they don't want to risk losing you to confusion or delay. There's a powerful phrase, no decision is a decision. If someone is actively choosing not to move forward, not to commit, not to invest, then they are choosing distance. They are choosing uncertainty, and that decision has consequences. You can't build a relationship with someone who won't meet you in the same emotional place. You can't create safety with someone who refuses to define anything, and you can't keep giving time, energy, love, and loyalty to someone who's standing still while you're pouring yourself forward. So many people stay stuck in a relationship that isn't really a relationship, just a situation, a dynamic, a maybe. They stay because they fear walking away might mean missing out on something that could eventually work. But here's what's worse than walking away too soon, staying too long in something that was never going anywhere. You don't owe someone endless patience at the cost of your own peace. You don't need to give months or even years of your life to someone who won't simply say, "Yes, I choose you." Indecision doesn't just waste time, it chips away at your confidence. It makes you start to believe you're not worthy of certainty. It teaches you to tolerate less and accept ambiguity as normal. But a real connection, one that's healthy and mutual, doesn't leave you anxious all the time. It doesn't force you to second guess every word, every plan, every message. And if that's what you're stuck in, then that's not love. It's emotional confusion dressed up as potential. We give too many chances to people who don't act. We accept crumbs and call it progress because we're afraid to confront the truth. If someone wanted to be with you, they already would be. The people who are serious about you don't need to be convinced. They won't drag it out, play games, or avoid real conversations. They'll make space for you. They'll move toward you. They'll choose you with intention. And if they're not doing that, if they're dragging their feet, changing the subject, or leaving things vague, it's time to stop excusing it as confusion. It's not confusion. It's a choice, and now you get to make one too. You get to choose whether you keep holding space for someone who won't fill it, or whether you reclaim that space for someone who will. The longer you stay waiting for someone else to decide, the more power you give away. But the moment you realize that indecision is a decision, and not one that honors your worth, is the moment you take your power back. You don't have to wait for clarity from someone who's already shown you, in their silence, in their delay, in their lack of effort, exactly where they stand. Love isn't meant to feel like a constant question mark. It isn't supposed to keep you up at night wondering where you stand, or leave you checking your phone repeatedly, hoping for a message that makes everything clear. When you find yourself in a relationship, or something resembling one where you're stuck in a cycle of maybe, you're not in love. You're in emotional uncertainty. And that kind of uncertainty slowly chips away at your confidence, your peace of mind, and your ability to truly connect with someone who's ready to give you what you deserve. When someone keeps you in the maybe zone, they're giving just enough to keep you around, but never enough to give you real stability. It's the good morning texts that don't lead to real plans. The conversations that feel intimate but go nowhere. The vague promises about the future that always get pushed back. You end up living in a space where nothing is defined and everything feels temporary. This emotional gray area can start to feel normal, especially if you've been in it long enough. But just because you've grown used to it doesn't mean you're meant to stay there. Love is not about being constantly tested, left guessing, or feeling like you're auditioning for a spot in someone's life. True love is decisive. It's built on clarity and mutual recognition. The right person won't keep you on stand by while they explore their options or avoid commitment. They won't tell you they need more time indefinitely. They won't offer affection when it's convenient and then disappear when things get real. And if someone is doing that, it's not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their inability to show up. You deserve someone who is emotionally available, consistent, and clear about what they want. Someone who doesn't leave you feeling like you're walking on eggshells, afraid to ask where things are going. When you're with the right person, you won't have to wonder if they're serious about you. You'll know. Their actions will show it every day, not just in big gestures, but in the small moments where they make an effort to make you feel seen, valued, and secure. Staying in a situation where someone won't give you clarity is an emotional trap. You start shrinking yourself to fit what they need. You avoid difficult conversations. You become afraid to express your needs because you don't want to scare them off. But love that requires you to silence yourself isn't love. It's performance, and you're not here to perform for affection. You're here to build a connection that feels mutual, safe, and real. It's easy to fall into the hope that things might change, that maybe one day they'll wake up and realize you're the one, but the longer you hold on to hope for someone who can't decide, the more you delay your chance at finding someone who can. Someone who walks in ready, not hesitant. Someone who doesn't just say they care, but proves it through consistency, commitment, and presence. There's nothing romantic about staying in a situation that keeps you anxious, unsure, or undervalued. Real love is intentional. Real love is clear. And the moment you accept that maybe is just a polite way of saying not enough, is the moment you free yourself to find something better. Letting go of a maybe isn't giving up on love. It's giving yourself a chance to experience the kind of love that doesn't make you question your place in it. When you're emotionally invested in someone, it's natural to want to prove your worth. You show up, you care deeply, you go the extra mile, and you hope that with enough love, loyalty, and patience, they'll finally realize what they have. But when someone isn't choosing you, it's not your job to try harder. It's your job to pay attention. The idea that if you just do more, they'll change their mind is one of the most emotionally exhausting traps you can fall into. Instead of proving your worth, what you really need to do is observe their behavior. It's easy to become fixated on showing someone why you're a good partner. Maybe they've been hurt before. Maybe they say they're just not ready. Or maybe they've given you mixed signals that keep you hopeful. So you tell yourself, if I'm just more patient, more understanding, more supportive, they'll come around. And while you're busy pouring yourself into them, you're not noticing the most important thing. They're not meeting you halfway. They're not matching your effort, and that imbalance speaks louder than any excuse they give. Observation is powerful. It removes the pressure to constantly perform, chase, or control the situation. When you take a step back and really look at how someone is showing up, the truth becomes much clearer. Do they initiate plans, or is it always you? Do they follow through on what they say, or are they full of empty promises? Do they communicate openly, or do they avoid depth and vulnerability? These small behaviors are not meaningless. They are data points, and the more you observe without trying to steer the outcome, the more honest the reality becomes. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming that their effort can override someone else's ambivalence. But you can't love someone into loving you. You can't push someone into choosing you if they aren't willing. Love has to be mutual, and effort has to be reciprocated. When it's not, you're not building a relationship. You're building a fantasy, hoping your devotion will someday be mirrored back to you. But that's not how healthy connection works. It doesn't thrive on hope alone. It thrives on mutual investment. By shifting from proving to observing, you take your power back. You stop twisting yourself into knots trying to be enough for someone who hasn't even decided if they want to stay. You stop assigning meaning to every tiny crumb of affection, trying to convince yourself that it's progress. And instead, you start seeing things for what they are, not what you wish they were. That clarity, while painful at first, is the most freeing thing you can give yourself. The truth is, when someone is truly interested in you, you won't have to do mental gymnastics to figure it out. You won't be stuck analyzing every message, every response time, every shift in mood, because when someone is consistent, available, and ready, it shows. You feel it in their presence, in how they prioritize you, in how they respect your time, your energy, and your emotions. That's what a real connection looks like, and it never requires you to beg for it. So stop trying to prove. Start paying attention. The answers you're looking for are in their actions, not their words. And the sooner you let go of the need to convince them, the sooner you'll be able to see if they're truly showing up, or if you're just holding onto potential that only exists in your mind. Walking away doesn't always come from anger or heartbreak. Sometimes it comes from finally realizing that staying is slowly breaking you down. When someone can't choose you, when they keep you in limbo, or take you for granted, the most powerful thing you can do is walk away, not to punish them, but to protect yourself. So many people misunderstand this act. They think leaving is about making a statement or getting revenge. But in reality, it's a boundary. It's a declaration that says, I'm no longer available for anything less than what I deserve. Often, we stay far too long in situations where we're not valued because we're afraid of the void that follows. We're afraid of what it might mean to walk away, the silence, the uncertainty, the grief. But staying where you're not truly wanted is its own kind of pain. And over time, that pain becomes more subtle, more familiar, and more destructive. It wears down your self-worth, confuses your instincts, and conditions you to accept crumbs instead of the full meal you actually need. Walking away in that context is a radical act of self-respect. It's saying, I've tried, I've given, I've waited, and now I choose me. That choice isn't dramatic, it's necessary. You're not storming out, you're not slamming doors, you're just quietly reclaiming your time and energy from a place that couldn't hold them with care. And the moment you do that, something shifts, not necessarily in the other person, but in you. You stop hoping for change and start creating it. You stop trying to be chosen and start choosing yourself. There's something incredibly powerful about removing yourself from a space where you're not appreciated. Because often, people only realize what they had once it's gone. But whether they do or don't isn't the point. The point is that you recognized your own value before someone else had to validate it. You saw that staying in a half-love was costing you too much. Your peace, your joy, your sense of self. And you chose to walk before you completely lost yourself. It's also important to understand that walking away isn't about bitterness. It doesn't mean you didn't care. In fact, sometimes the people who walk away cared the most, but they also learned that love isn't just about giving. It's about receiving too. And when you're constantly pouring into someone who can't or won't pour back, the relationship becomes emotionally one-sided. Eventually, you hit a point where love without reciprocity just isn't sustainable. It becomes self-sacrifice. You can love someone deeply and still realize that they're not capable of giving you what you need. That's not failure, that's growth. Knowing when to let go, even when your heart is still attached, is a powerful form of maturity. It means you're no longer driven solely by emotion, but by wisdom. You've learned that peace is better than potential, and clarity is better than confusion. People sometimes wait for a big moment to justify their exit. A betrayal, a blowout, a last straw. But often, the real reason you leave is quieter. It's the accumulation of 100 small disappointments, the emotional distance, the inconsistency, the lack of effort, and finally, you wake up one day and realize, I deserve more than this. That realization alone is enough. So when you walk away, don't look back hoping they'll chase you. Walk because you know what you're worth. Walk not to make a point, but to find your peace, because the right person won't require you to leave for them to see your value. They'll recognize it while you're still there. Until then, walking away isn't giving up. It's moving forward. When it comes to relationships, one of the most important truths to understand is that the person who's truly right for you won't need convincing. They won't have to be persuaded, begged, or coaxed into making you a priority. When someone is meant to be in your life, their choice to be with you will be clear, confident, and consistent. It won't leave you questioning your place or doubting their feelings. Instead, you'll feel secure and seen because they make sure you know you belong. Many people find themselves stuck in cycles of uncertainty because they're trying to force clarity from someone who just isn't ready to give it. They look for signs in small gestures, in vague promises, or in inconsistent attention, but that kind of emotional ambiguity isn't a foundation for a healthy relationship. The right person won't leave you wondering where you stand. They'll show you in their actions and their words. They won't be maybe or sometimes, they'll be here, all in, and yes. When someone is truly right for you, they won't make you work to prove your worth. They won't need to be convinced that you're valuable or deserving of their time and affection. Instead, their natural response will be to protect and nurture what you have together. They will prioritize your feelings, respect your boundaries, and make decisions that include you. That's the kind of love that feels effortless because it's built on mutual respect and genuine desire. This clarity of choice also means you won't feel like you have to keep score, guess at intentions, or wonder if they are being honest. The right person's commitment is consistent. Their effort matches their words. You won't have to anxiously wait for messages or worry about mixed signals because their presence and their dedication will be unmistakable. When you're with the right person, you'll feel a natural sense of ease and trust, not tension or confusion. It's important to recognize that the need for constant reassurance often comes from being with someone who isn't fully invested. You might find yourself asking, do they really care, or are they going to choose me, because their behavior doesn't align with your needs for security? But when you find the right person, those questions fade away because their actions make the answer obvious. You won't have to wonder if they'll show up for you. They already do. This kind of clear choice isn't about perfection or always being happy. Every relationship has ups and downs. But what makes the right person stand out is their unwavering commitment to work through challenges with you rather than pulling away or shutting down. They'll choose you even when it's hard because they understand that relationships require effort from both sides, and they're willing to put in that effort because you matter to them. Waiting for someone to finally choose you can be exhausting, especially if they keep you in a state of uncertainty. But when you understand that the right person will make that choice freely and clearly, it changes your perspective. It frees you from chasing after people who aren't ready or willing to fully commit. It encourages you to focus on yourself and on building connections where your value is recognized and reciprocated without question. Being with someone who chooses you confidently is one of the most affirming experiences in life. It builds your self-esteem, it creates a foundation of trust, and it allows love to grow naturally. When you're with the right person, you feel it in your bones, you feel safe, appreciated, and loved in a way that doesn't leave room for doubt. So if you've ever doubted your worth because someone hesitated or wavered, remember this: the one who is right for you will not hesitate. They will make you feel like the most important person in the world, not by accident, but by deliberate choice. And when that happens, you won't have to question it, you'll simply know. At the end of the day, relationships should bring clarity, confidence, and connection, not confusion, doubt, or endless waiting. If someone can't choose you, it's not a reflection of your worth, but a sign that it's time for you to choose yourself. Choosing yourself means valuing your peace, your happiness, and your future. It means stepping into your power and refusing to settle for anything less than the love and respect you deserve. Remember, the right person won't need convincing. They'll make it clear, consistent, and undeniable that you belong in their life. So don't waste your time hoping for what could be. Instead, make room for what truly is, because when you honor your worth, the right love will follow.